Hi, this is Josh Ezell with Breakthrough Real Estate and Property Management. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today, I'm going to talk to you about change. Now, why is change so hard? For most of us, I'm pretty sure there's lots of things we would love to change. But if change was easy, it wouldn't be an issue. So what makes change so hard, even though we know it's what needs to happen? Well, you can see on the list I've pointed out a few reasons why most of us have issues with change, I guess you could say. Change is scary, it requires a lot of different things, and it takes us out of our comfort zone. It pretty much affects every one of these, which is what makes it scary. You have everything from being insecure because you're putting yourself out there. You don't know what's going to happen. We like knowing what's going to happen. Habits take a long time to build. So obviously habits are going to take a long time to change. And that in and of itself requires a commitment for an extended period of time, which many people have issues doing in and of itself. But on top of that, you're putting yourself out there in a form of discomfort for that long of a period, which makes it even harder. For anybody who's taken on, for example, smoked and tried to quit smoking, eventually you just get to the point where it's either going to happen or it won't. You either fundamentally make yourself do it and get past it, or most people won't. And it's a lot easier to not, which is why most people have a hard time quitting smoking. Giving up caffeine, sugar, biting your nails, whatever it might be. People have issue with change. Habits are habits for a reason. So without an actual plan, it's really tough to change a habit. So you have habits, you have nature. I love, we are creatures of habit. It's not necessarily in our nature to change. So anytime we're taking on something new, some people have the personality where they love taking on something new. But nature allows us to pretty much lean towards some things we know, right? Some people love going to a new movie. Some people love to watch their old movie. Some people love to hear new song after new song after new song. Some people prefer to listen to the songs that they've been listening to for a long time. Some people stick to a certain kind of genre of things, types of clothing, right? It's in our nature to stick with what's familiar to us. And so we're kind of breaking nature by breaking habits and putting us out there to change those. Okay? So I know these kind of intersect on a lot of different things, but long story short, change is hard. Change is not pleasant. Change requires focused energy, and it requires putting yourself out there, which most people are not comfortable doing. Now, here's the ironic part. People will spend their entire life unhappy because they are scared to do these, when they know that they could be happy by putting themselves out there. So they will, whether they mean to or not, spend years potentially in this bracket, when it would take about 90 days or so to potentially give them happiness. Interesting. By putting ourselves out there, it actually builds confidence. Even if you get totally torn down, believe it or not, in the long run, you're going to have more confidence because you accomplished something, as opposed to not putting yourself out there and not trying. You'll actually become even more insecure because you don't have any positive reinforcement. You haven't done any of the actions that are going to bring those amazing results. So confidence comes from that. Now, uncomfortable and comfort. Believe it or not, it is possible to become comfortable with discomfort. You're never going to be comfortable in every situation, and that's an unreasonable expectation. But you can be comfortable being uncomfortable. That is definitely possible. We all have that sense of anticipation before we're going to go up and speak to somebody. For those of us who have ever asked out somebody else, you have that moment where you're like, and as Mel Robbins it's become very popular with her 5-second rule book, it's that moment. You're either going to take that next step or you're not. And you have a brief window where you're going to do it or you won't. And if you overcome it, it leads to a lot of these. If you don't, it leads to these. But being comfortable with the discomfort is almost like a challenge. And you, as opposed to fearing those moments, you actually respect them for what they are and pride yourself on overcoming them. So being comfortable with discomfort is very important, especially, well, in the lives of realtors specifically, right? So here's the great irony, is mix all these together. Most people won't do these because they're scared, when all they actually want are these. But the only way they could get these is to do those. And then that will bring these. So that's the great irony, is that we want to be happy, but we're too scared to put ourselves out there to be happy. We all would love to be confident, but we're too unconfident to put ourselves out there to do the things that will build the confidence. This is one of the true things that I have trouble wrapping my head around it, even though I know of it, because daily we have to put ourselves out there, especially in real estate. I don't wake up wanting to talk to people on the phone every single day. I don't wake up wanting to knock on doors. I don't wake up wanting to go head to head every single day trying to negotiate things or putting up the battle for my clients. But I know that at the end of the day, if I do it, I'm going to go home happy. If I do it and I get that win, I'm going to go home confident. That if I go home confident, I actually have more to offer my friends, my family, and that builds the snowball or the momentum or the compound effect, thank you, Darren Hardy, of your efforts. So the next day you're going to start off a little bit higher, and the next day you're going to start off a little bit higher, the next day you're going to start off a little bit higher, where before you know it, you're actually very comfortable with the discomfort, and you are going out of your way to try to find these things so you can try to be a better person. I'm in the middle of reading a book, and forgive me because I cannot remember the name of it, but he challenged himself for 100 days straight to go out there and face rejection. Create situations knowing that they're probably going to get rejected, so that way he could become comfortable with rejection. I think it was like his second day into it or something. He put himself out there for a rejection, and not only was his rejection rejected, but it came through with a flying positive, which was amazing. And that was the furthest thing from his mind when he started it. But that is one of the amazing outcomes that happen if you put yourself out there. So I want to throw that out to everybody, but specifically realtors. Nobody preps you on how to become a realtor. Nobody tells you that, yeah, there's lots of ways to find business in our business, but most of them require talking to people on the phone, calling people you don't know, following up with your friends and family on the phone, knocking on people's doors, whether it's people you know or people you don't know, sending out mailers and doing things like, mailing people in general, which a lot of people don't like doing and whatever. But it also pertains to doing stuff like this, like being on video, doing podcasts, doing presentations in front of people, getting in front of groups. It requires a lot of putting yourself out there, and without knowing it, without purposely knowing that this is what we need to do, and how do we get better at it? How do you become comfortable at it? Many agents will get into this business and never ever do their first open house. They will never make that first phone call. They will never knock on that first door. And that's what I want to challenge you today, is take that first step. You will be pleasantly surprised at what will happen. I can't say every time it's going to be a huge win, but if you put yourself out there enough times, guaranteed you're going to get some wins that would have never been possible otherwise. It's an amazing thing when it happens. Please let me know how you put yourself out there and some of the wins that come from it. Guys, this is Josh Ezell. Thank you so much. Have a good day.